Welcome to creating your end of year presentation with Keynote. We are about 4 minutes from going live at 11 o'clock. Make sure your speakers or headsets are not muted. You should be hearing some cool jazz music from the audio library in YouTube. It's called Here's Hurt So Good Blues from the audio YouTube library. If you want to ask any questions, you can definitely do it in our back channel. It's a live back channel at tinyurl.com/end of year press. End of year press is capitalized. tinyurl.com/end of year press. So go ahead and join us there for any questions you may have during the presentation. Some people have been texting me, 915-213-4326. You can definitely send me a text. I'll be checking both if you have any questions there. I'll start in about 3 more minutes. Creating your end of year presentation with Keynote. Enjoy the music. Hello everyone, we are live with the creating your end of year presentation using Keynote. And so I'm going to be checking my back channel here for any questions you may have. Hopefully you're hearing me. If you can just type in there and say, hey, can you hear me? Or I can hear you, not can you hear me? I can hear you. I would truly appreciate it. Some of you have been sending me text messages at 915-213-4326. That's fine as well, but you can join the back channel chat at tinyurl.com end of year press, with end of year being showing in capital letters. So I'm going to go ahead and show you how to create that presentation, that end of year presentation in Keynote. Previous video, I showed you how to do it in PowerPoint. whatever you're happy with, Apple, Microsoft, it's up to you. It really doesn't matter which one you use. But I'm going to show you both. Okay, I've been using a lot of Keynote lately, but there are some features in PowerPoint, like the subtitle features, that I really like in PowerPoint. But besides that, I've been using Keynote to make movies. Okay, so I've been using Keynote to make movies with voice recordings and inserting videos and stuff like that. A lot of the things that you can definitely do in PowerPoint as well. So some of the transitions in Keynote I like. So I'll show you some of those that I like. And the transition menu that allows me to set those transitions and move things around, I like that better in Keynote than I do in PowerPoint. So I'll show you the difference. It doesn't matter. I think they're just as easy to use, but we'll do that. Okay. The first thing I want to do is show you a website, two websites that I use when I'm making my presentations, my movies, for things like templates and non-copyrighted music. Okay, so that's very important. And we're trying to show our students digital citizenship and making them better digital citizenship. And I hope you're practicing that as well. So I want to show you these two sites, which are free, which is really nice. That's very important for us as educators. We do spend a lot of money in our classrooms, and once in a while we like some of that free stuff, some of those great Starbucks cards from our parents, or free ebooks from our campus, or other things that we can get for free, because we do put in a lot of money into our classes and for our students. So let me go ahead and transition over to my desktop here. And the first site I want to show you is called SlidesMania.com. And I have two screens, so if you see me looking up, I'm still with you. I'm just looking up here. Okay, so SlidesMania.com, great free website, and it's new. It's like 2020 new. And it's a place where you can get free templates, some free resources for Google Slides and PowerPoint. So as soon as I found out about this, I was lucky enough to go to TCA over in February, right before this whole nightmare coronavirus started. So lucky enough to do that. Matter of fact, it was in the wind already, and some people were already wearing face masks at the airport. We didn't, and thank God we're not sick. But that's about the time it started when we got back, obviously in March, when we transitioned into March. Not got back in March. We were only there for a week. Then this whole nightmare began. So in one of the sessions I went to, they talked about SlidesMania, and it was actually for creating movies using Keynote and PowerPoint. So it's free now. Browse through it, download as much as you can, save it to a flash drive, save it to a external hard drive, save it to OneDrive, Google Drive, wherever it is that you save stuff. Save some of these sites, templates that you like, because you know how it is. Sometimes things are free, and then they need money, they need sponsors, and they don't get sponsors, so now they have to start charging. So be sure and save some of these before whoever it is that's running this is going to have to charge us for downloading stuff. So, and I would not blame this person for doing that. So grab it while it's hot, while it's free. 3 simple steps: you browse, you choose, you download. Very simple to do this. So there's some intro templates here. You can always click see all themes, or you can do selection category up here, and obviously I'm going to click on education. While that's loading, I'm checking the chat, making sure everything's okay. So far so good. Okay, awesome. So here are the free education templates for PowerPoint and Google Slides. If you're familiar with Google Slides, and this is simple, you can just go ahead and open it up in there. If you're familiar, well, obviously everybody should be familiar with PowerPoint, at least I think. We can download that and save it to a folder or something. So the one that I am going to use is on the second page. There's actually 21 pages of education templates. Anything from Lego, so if you're running a robotics club, to, like the fall fair or the spring fair or whatever it is that you want to do a little presentation for your staff, and volunteers are going to be helping you out. You have choice boards, so you have some choice boards there. You have all sorts of, planners. You have all sorts of different types of templates. And again, 22 pages, not 21, 22 pages. But the one I'm going to use is in page 2. And it's called Virtual Graduation and End of Year Awards. And that's actually what a lot of us are going to be doing this week, starting tomorrow or Thursday, or maybe you set it up for Friday, the last day of school. You're going to be doing some virtual graduations and award ceremony, because you can't be with your students, but at least you can do it virtually. So this is the one I like. Again, there's a lot more. You can run your lessons with these templates on a daily basis. And this today activity one looks pretty neat. Our week, on Monday, I can do the weekly planner for the week. All these great presentations here. But the one I'm going to use is called Virtual Graduation. I'm going to click to open that one. The nice thing about Keynote is that I can open up PowerPoint, whatever, templates, files in Keynote. I can't do that in PowerPoint. I cannot open a Keynote in PowerPoint, but I can open a PowerPoint in Keynote. So even though this is going to download as a PowerPoint file, I can open it up in Keynote. And I'm going to show you how, because that's the tricky part. So I want you to make sure you know how to do it, or at least the different parts. So these are this is the template, and this is what it looks like. So it has some white award templates here, or slides. It's going to have a set of like chalkboard type slides. It's going to have a set of kind of nice diploma or graduation envelope type slide, and it's going to have this golden slide feature here as well. It's going to have those 4 formats in the PowerPoint template, and you can duplicate these to fit the number of students that you have. You obviously don't have 4 students. You probably have a little bit more, maybe 12, maybe 20, maybe 35. It depends if you're in, anyone in kinder to at least 8th grade. And I'm saying 8th grade because we still run award ceremonies in middle school, except we do it as a grade level instead of as a classroom. High school usually doesn't run award ceremonies. I mean, not that I remember, and my kids are both in high school, and they don't do award ceremony. They do a graduation, totally different. Okay, so, but you could, if you wanted to, run some award ceremonies for your high school students as well, if you are here joining us for the high school. So at the bottom, as you keep scrolling down, it shows you the Google slide. So I can just flip through the slides and see, okay, this is a preview. This is how it's going to show up in Google Slides. So if you're familiar with that, then you're going to get the Google Slides theme. I'm not going to talk about Google Slides, but you can definitely do that. Or what we're going to do today is we're going to download the PowerPoint template, but we're going to open it up in Keynote. So I'm going to go ahead and click download. It's going to ask me to choose a folder, file, location. I have a folder for where I'm storing all my images for my students. It's in my desktop. I created a folder and I brought in all my images. I had images in OneDrive. I had images in my Google Drive. I had images in Dropbox. You name it. I had images everywhere, and I just brought in some images and put it in one folder on my desktop. So you could have it on your phone. You can have them on your iPad. Put them in one location on your computer. Okay? So I'm going to open that up. I'm going to save it in here, but I'm going to type Keynote at the end, because there's already a copy for PowerPoint. So I'm going to type Keynote so that I remember this is my Keynote copy. And I'm going to go ahead and click Save. So it's going to download to my folder, and I could click over here and open it, but the problem is it's going to open up in PowerPoint. Now, in order for me to open it up in Keynote, I have to go to the Finder. So I'm going to click on that Picasso-looking guy down there at the bottom, and I'm going to go to the Finder, open up my folder inside of the desktop. So there it is. And I'm going to find that slide that says Keynote. So I should have it here somewhere. There it is, right here at the bottom. Let me open this up a little more. So down here at the bottom, open it up too much. Down here at the bottom, I have the one that says Keynote. It's way up at the bottom, but it still says PowerPoint template. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hover over. I'm going to click on it once, and then I'm going to right click or secondary click, and I'm going to say open with. So I'm going to hover open with, and if it doesn't show Keynote right here, it should show your default. So the default should be PowerPoint, because that's what it is. It's a PowerPoint presentation, but it should also show Keynote. If not, you can go to other and find Keynote in the other. But I'm going to say Keynote, and it's going to open up this file in Keynote. I'm going to close this out and wait for my file to open. Here it comes. So it's transforming this file into a Keynote template. Let's give it a few seconds here. All right, so it's opened up in Keynote. I'm going to go ahead and click to open it. I'm going to drag it up here with this, and I'm going to go ahead and expand it. Now, I haven't talked about this in the other presentations, but I just want you to know that you don't have to click the green button to make it full screen. When you do that, you lose a lot of things. You lose the options up here at the top, and you might lose some other things that you're like, well, how come I can't see them? Like if you're doing WebEx and you go full screen by clicking the green button, you're probably not going to see the student images, the student little video things. So you don't want to click the green button for everything. What I like to do is I like to grab a corner and then expand my window. Okay, so I've expanded my window. And one of the other things I wanted to show you was that I brought this as well. This was part of it when it opened up. It looks different because it's missing some of the fonts. Okay, that's fine. I'm not gonna replace them. I'm just gonna leave it alone. So it does look different than the PowerPoint one. Okay, but it did bring in the pictures and stuff. Again, if you don't want to say graduate, if you don't, this doesn't do word art. It does text, different styles of text up here, captioning and free form title, you name it. So if I don't want to say graduate, I can say champion. Okay, again, I can change all that. I still can change the dates. And I'm saying this because I've done this with PowerPoint. So you can change the dates. You can get rid of these little images here. They came in with the presentation, but you can get rid of them if you want. Okay. The next slide is your actual student. So you did it, and so I have two slides here. I'm going to put the student's name down at the bottom. So if you saw my PowerPoint presentation, I'm doing the same thing. I'm not changing it up. It's not going to confuse anybody here. But I'm going to copy the colorful one because I want to use that for the name. Now, in PowerPoint, there's a little handle here that I could rotate this image. Keynote does not do that for me, so it doesn't have that handle. And usually you can two-finger slide, but it usually only works, or two-finger twist, but it works on images only. So what I need to do is I need to go up here to Format, and I need to go to Arrange, and then I need to use either this little wheel here and turn. So it should be 0 really. So I'm just going to type 0 right there. So it should be 0. That way it's leveled. Okay. So again, I went to Format. I clicked on the text, clicked on Format, then went to Arrange to change the angle. Okay. So the only time you're probably going to have to do that if something's twisted, it's crooked, and you want to straighten it out, you're going to have to go to click on the text, image, whatever it is, Format, Arrange, and then Rotate. Okay. So in here, I'm going to type the student name. So this is going to be Maria Velasquez. Now, if I wanted this image, this text to be longer or bigger, then I'm going to have to expand this so that it shows nice and big. And then I just click and drag it around. That's all I'm doing is click and drag it. Now, I have the frame, and then I have the image. So I'm going to change the image, and I'm going to grab it from my files, my folder. So up here at the top, it's going to say Format Image, and I get to replace it. And I'm going to go look for that file. I'm going to find Maria, and there is no Maria. I'm making up names. I don't want to use real student names here. So I'm going to find one of my young ladies here. This one right here. But I'm also going to crop this because it's kind of small. It's really not showing her close up. So I'm going to double click, and it's going to give me the cropping properties, which is the first one. And I'm going to get as close as possible. I'm going to crop it so that, not get as close, but so that I can expand. I can make her image longer. Okay, I'll be right there. That should be okay. Okay, so now I'll move this out of the way, move the frame back, just adjust it as best you can. Move the picture in. I have to do a little rotating, so I'm going to go ahead and arrange and, oh, the other way. Right there. That looks good. Now I'm going to put it to the corner here. Then I'm going to go ahead and enlarge it. I shouldn't have cut off so much from the sides. Okay, and then I'm going to send it to, oops, sorry. If I need to crop again, I can double click, move this up so it's not showing. There it is, done. So I cropped that image. She looks a little bigger on the screen, easier to see. I have her in there. And then I have the awards. So I'm using that template. It comes up with the awards. I can change the name. I can say perfect attendance. No, I used perfect attendance last time. Most improved in math. Okay, so my most improved in math, again, if the title went, the text went small, then I can increase, and then I can center. There we go, right there. Okay, and then in here I would type her name, Maria Velasquez. Okay, and then I can move this so it looks proper. There we go, and hopefully I'm still centered. Yeah, right there. There we go. Right there. Well, it's still a little high. So if it's still a little high like that and it's hard to do with the mouse, once I select it, I can go up and click on the up or down arrows and move it that way. So a little more precise with the up and down arrows. All right. So here we go. All right. And so I would go ahead and type in whatever the most improved math award is, most improved in math award is, and you should have a file of some sort or something. You can type up your own stuff if you don't have that specific description. Again, you can get rid of the diploma, and you can change the date. So I'm just saying May 22nd because that is the last day of school, but you put the date that you're going to create your presentation. Again, you have more awards. You have 3. If I needed an extra award, I can go ahead and right click and duplicate, or I can press click it and delete to remove an award if I didn't need more than 2. Okay, I usually give out 2 to 3 awards. 2 of them were certificates. 1 of them was probably like a medal, but we're not going to have that, so you can use it as a certificate. Now there's only 4 students here, plus the SlidesMania at the bottom. Go ahead and leave that there. That's just publicity for this guy, and I think, like he's saying, sharing is caring. I think everybody should know about SlidesMania. Okay, so this is only 4 students. If you have 20 students, then you're going to have to duplicate some of these slides, these groups. So I'm going to select slide 1 up here, and then I'm going to shift click on 5 to select them all, and I'm going to go ahead and copy, and I'm going to paste it at the bottom. So I click number 16, and then right click paste or command V, and it's going to put that next set at the bottom. And I would do the same thing for set number 2. Click, shift click on 10, copy, go down to the bottom, next to the last slide, right click paste or command V, and then I can create as many sets as I need for the number of students that I have. I think all of you know how to do that. Works the same in PowerPoint, works the same in Keynote. Okay, so one of the other things that I can add is I can add other shapes. I can add text. So if I needed to add different text, it gives me the option to add text right here. And I can select different formats and colors. So you have your color wheel, bold, regular, your fonts. You have your font list right there. So you can select different text and delete that. You can also select different shapes. So if, I think there's a graduation cap right there. So if you don't like that one, you wanted this one, you can definitely grab that one as well. You can find other things like school, backpacks, you name it. There's a lot of shapes in here. If I click education, I'm going to find a lot of the stuff that I probably need. If I needed an award, I can definitely click that and bring it in here. It brings it as a nice little color, but I can go ahead and change the style of that. Different colors, different gradients. I can go ahead and select the color that I like for each one of these types of gradient fills, or I can say just a color fill, or I can say image fill, okay, stuff like that. So definitely can do a lot of things with these shapes. So you have your shapes there as well. Very simple. The next thing is media. If you needed to bring in pictures, I showed you how to do it by changing a picture. You know, I went ahead and right-clicked and changed the picture here. It's a lot easier here than it is in PowerPoint, because in PowerPoint it grabs the frame first. But in Keynote I can just focus on the picture, and if I go to image, replace, I can go ahead and find that image of that next student that I have in my folder. Let me find the young lady here. And there she is. Again, if I needed to crop or make her stand out, maybe I don't need to crop, maybe I just need to make her stand out like that. The nice thing about Keynote, it chooses the size, the best option size, and it hides the rest of it. So I like that. I like that in Keynote. In PowerPoint I have to crop it. In Keynote it does it for me automatically. So there it is right there. I've enlarged the size of her image so that I can actually see her a little better. Okay, and then I can go ahead and, you know, copy, move this around, add her name at the bottom, change the month and all that stuff. That's but you can definitely bring it in for your photos. If you have photos in your photo gallery in your Mac already, you can definitely do that. You can click choose and bring it in from there. And so I'm going to show you another thing, how to add music inside of Keynote. Okay, so how to put music inside a Keynote. So the only way in PowerPoint, you can grab it. You probably grab it from online. You can definitely grab a video from YouTube. But when you click on music, it's going to bring up your iTunes music, and you might not have anything in there. And you definitely want to choose music that is not copyrighted. Okay, that it's Creative Commons and it's free for you to choose. And there is a neat website for that. I'm going to go back to Chrome, and there's a neat website in YouTube. It's called the Audio Library, the YouTube Audio Library. And if you have, all of us have a Google account. It's our email. If you don't have a Gmail, you can use your EPISD email to log into Google. And when you click on, if you go to youtube.com, audio library, /audio library /music, you should get here and you will find some music. So if I wanted to find some classical music, so I'm in classical, you can choose the mood. I can say calm, okay, and it'll filter through this, and then I can go ahead and listen to it. Maybe that's not what I want, but one of the things I do want to show you is that sometimes it'll say you're free to use the song in any of your videos. You don't have to caption it. You don't have to cite it. I do. I would at least say The 2 Seasons by Dan Bodon from YouTube Audio Library. Okay, but like in Mesmerize by Kevin McLeod, he actually says you're free to use this song in all your videos, but you must include the following video description. So the citing. So all you have to do is copy this and paste it into maybe the beginning of your presentation. I'm going to copy it. I'm going to go back to, well, before I do that, after you find your music and you've done copied this, then you can go ahead and download this. So you'll notice that when you have this little guy here, that means that there is a citing that you have to include into your presentation. That's a Creative Commons attribution symbol, and that will tell you that, oh, this guy wants me to cite his music. I can use it, but he wants me to make sure I give him credit. So if it doesn't have it, then you don't have to, but please do, to show our students how to be good digital citizens. Okay. So again, let's say I use Mesmerize. I can go ahead and click download, and it's going to download it to a folder file location that I decide to choose. And I'm going to go ahead and write Kevin McLeod. And I'm going to save it to my 1C folder, 1C1D pictures folder. And it'll save as an MP3 audio. Okay, so there it is. I'm going to go back to my Keynote. And so if I want my music to play just in this slide, then I go to Media, Choose, and then I'm going to go find that folder. So there's my desktop. There's my 1C1D folder. And down here is in alphabetical order. I'm going to go to List View. Should be Mesmerized down towards the bottom. There it is, by Kevin McLeod. I go ahead and insert it, and it's going to go ahead and put it in there. I have a couple of options. I mean, I have the animate options. How do I want this music to start? Usually we can double click in Keynote and PowerPoint. There'd be some menu options up at the top, but here it's called animation in Keynote. So I'm going to click animate, and I'm going to click build order down here. I like this because I can move the order around of the things that I'm going to build, that I'm going to animate. And I want this music to start after transition. So as soon as I go to that slide, it's going to start playing. So this is what happens when I click play. Plays the music, right? But I need to give him credit, so I'm going to add a text box. I'm going to put the credit up here at the top, and I'm going to paste. Remember, I had that all on there for me. But if I just Command V, it's going to look a little weird. So what I want to do, and that's what I did here, I'm going to Command Z to get rid of it. If I go Edit, Paste and Match Style, it's going to match the style of the Keynote. So it looks a little different, right? And then I can go ahead and Command A to choose all of it, and maybe choose the format, change the color, change the color to a yellow or a white or something that'll stand out. That actually won't do it. Maybe something a little darker. I can always go to my color wheel here, and it's going to open it up over here. Maybe this will stand out. I'm also going to make it bold. Well, that's horrible. You get the idea. You want to choose a color, and I'm not good with color. My wife has to dress me every single day. And I'm not ashamed of saying that. So here is my text, and I don't have to put it here. I can definitely move it and put it somewhere else. He just wants to make sure that we cite him, okay? And I don't have to do the you're free. I can get rid of that, okay? And I can make my box smaller too. So it just kind of fits in one space. And if I wanted to, I can definitely make, as long as it's visible, I can make my text a little smaller if I wanted to. I definitely need a better color for this. Maybe that'll do. Something like that. So, not even going to mess with that, but definitely put that in there because he wants you to acknowledge his work. Now, that's if you want it in one slide, but what if you want it in the entire presentation? You want to use the same piece of music in the entire presentation. I'm going to get rid of it here, delete. I'm going to go back to my first slide, and if I want to use this in my entire presentation, I'm going to click Document, and then I'm going to click Audio, and I'm going to go ahead and select a file right here on the plus sign, okay? It does say that I have to grab it, or if I do it like this, I have to have it in my music. But if I open up my folder, so here it is. I'm going to open up that folder on my desktop. I don't have to put it in my iTunes music. I'm just going to go ahead and grab it, click and drag, and drop it in there. So is it going to play once? Well, I could add another audio file if I wanted to play a different music throughout the presentation, or I could just say loop. Okay, so when I start this presentation, it'll start with the music and it'll just keep looping as I'm doing my presentation. It'll restart again once it finishes so that I have music throughout the entire presentation. Okay, that's how that's done. I can also lower the volume if it's too loud. I can lower the volume and I can test it here. It's in that after the intro where it gets a little loud. So I can lower the volume and it'll set the volume for me. Okay. So now you have this, you want to save it. You click on here at the top just like you do in PowerPoint. You're going to call this 2020, 2019, 2020 end of 1C, 1D. End of year presentation. Okay. Put it in the folder. I'm going to put it in that 1C, 1D folder. And that's it. It's saved. Okay. And so I can go ahead and start my live WebEx meeting, Schoology meeting, whatever you're doing. Open up Keynote, open up that presentation, press play. And I can say, welcome parents and students to our end of year ceremony. Today we are going to celebrate all of our students that have made it all the way through the end of the year. Let's start with Maria Velasquez. Great job. You did it. You are moving on to second grade. I am so proud of you. Your awards are most improved in math. That means that you are one of my best math students, whatever it is, blah, 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 blah. Then I go to my next award, next award, next award. Okay? So that is how it will roll. If I needed to insert, a different type of intro slide, then I can definitely add a slide. And I can choose, because it has a template, it's using that template, I can choose any slide. Maybe I want to choose that slide here for my intro. And I can go ahead and insert an image. So I'm going to insert the mascot. I could insert myself, but I have a mascot image down here somewhere. There it is. And obviously I can make this larger. Never grab it from the sides, always grab it from the corners. It's a really bad image. It's pixelated. It's a very old image too, so I haven't grabbed a new one yet, but I could definitely grab a different mascot image if needed, so that I have a better version of this. So this might be my starting slide where I welcome everybody, and let's go ahead and get started. And then I go ahead and start with my first student. You're a champion. You did it, Maria Velasquez. Awards, awards, awards. Next student, you're a champion. Josefina. Awards, 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 so on and so forth. Okay, so that's how you do that. Now, if you wanted to create a movie, then you would have to insert all the recordings. You would have to create the recordings. You would have to do all the transitioning and all that stuff, which is fine. You can definitely do all of that. But you click on Media to insert a recording, and you click Record Audio, and there is no time limit on this. And so again, I can press record. Make sure you have a good mic, or at least you're close to your computer. Hello, students and parents. Welcome to the 2019-2020 1C, 1D End of Year Award Ceremony. So I have that. I can preview it. Hello, students and parents. Welcome to the 2019-20. Okay, I like it. I insert it. There it is. Now, it's not going to play automatically. So again, I have to go to Animate up at the top, and I build the order. Okay, and so it's very important. Let's say I want that polar bear to come in. So I can do my transitions, my transitions by clicking on the bear, click on Animate, and I can say, you know what? I want this polar bear to come in as fireworks. So it's going to have that fireworks cool effects. I don't see this in PowerPoint, so I'd like some of these transitions, these actions, animate actions. And I can make this last longer if I wanted to. Okay, preview it. Right, pretty cool. So there's fireworks, there's confetti. These are the recent ones that I've used. But then you have your appear and move, your flip and scale, and then it has some special effects like flame, like that. Pretty cool. Doesn't have any sounds, but it does have that cool effect. Now, if I want this to start off first, I have to move this to the top. I want it to start automatically after transition down here at the bottom. And then maybe I want this to be with build 1, but I want it to wait, 20 seconds. So this is what happens, and I want to save that, Command S, or you want to click File, Save, whatever one it is, and play it, and you're going to see that it's going to start with the music. It's going to introduce the polar bear with the flames, and then 20 seconds later, it's going to do the audio recording. Hello, students and parents. Welcome to the 2019-2020 1C, 1D. Press escape to get out. If that was too long, like the flame took forever, maybe I just want like 5 seconds, 3 seconds. That way it burn my polar bear forever. And I also have the audio recording. Maybe 20 seconds is too long. Maybe it's going to be 5 seconds. So I have more control over the transitions than I do in PowerPoint. I like that. That's what I've been using for all of my presentations and pretty much for the films, because I end up turning these into movies that I can embed in Schoology, that I can load up in YouTube. So when I do training videos, I might create it on PowerPoint first, do the audio, do the talking, and then upload it to YouTube to share that way as well. So if you check out the Film Festival movies in our EPISD Film Festival channel, you will notice that I used a lot of, I used Keynote to create, and then I created a movie, okay? And yes, you can insert movies in here as well. So if you wanted a movie, I can go insert, choose any movie that you have. You just have to work with the transition. You can definitely do that. So here's my movie here. I can insert. It's not gonna, depending on the size, it'll take a while. And again, I can go ahead and I'm going to reduce the size of this. Animate. Oops, closed it. Build order down here at the bottom. I usually keep this window open just because I'm playing back and forth. And I'm going to do it second here. So it's going to start with my polar bear. Then it's going to transition. I'm going to go ahead and build him out. I have a build out option up here. After he's done firing up, I can fade and scale him away. And I'll do it right after. Okay, once he's done flamed up, he's going to go away. And then I'm going to go ahead and start this movie and the audio recording 5 seconds later. So let's see how that looks. Command S to save and play. Oh, it started off on something else. Oh, I know why. And I make this mistake quite often. When I say start movie, I want to say dissolve or appear, so that it's not there right from the get-go. Okay. I might want to resize the movie too, because it's kind of big. So I might want to resize so I still see it inside of the box. I'm going to move this out of the way here. And so I might want to resize this movie so it fits in the frame. There we go. That's much better. Now, let's try this again. Oh, I know what happened. Sometimes, and this happens a lot, you have to make sure that your first option, because I did change some things, and so if it doesn't play, you go back to your build order, and this is probably going to be the issue. The first option, I have to make sure it's always after transition. For some reason, it switches to on-click when I add things like movies and stuff. This first one will switch. So make sure your first option says after transition. I'm going to save that again. Let's play that one more time. This happens a lot, so you have to keep doing that. You look at all the experts, and they'll tell you to don't forget to do that. So my polar bear faded away, and now I have my movie in the background. Hello, students and parents. Welcome to 2019-2020. So that's a really neat, cool effect. And I like this build order window here because I can play with this and adjust this and timing and all of that. I might say, you know what? Audio recording needs to come in at 7 seconds or 9 seconds. You can tweak that to the millisecond if you wanted to. So just be aware. I like this a lot. I play with this a lot. I use this a lot. Probably a lot more than you probably will. But especially if you're going to create a movie that's going to play on its own, you want to make sure that none of this says click, because if it does, then nothing's going to happen. And I've done that before where I forgot to change this to after or with or whatever, and I just say click, and then it doesn't do anything. So make sure that none of it says click. So I have all this great stuff, and I'm looking at the chat just to make sure you don't have any questions. Okay, I have all this great stuff, and then I want to save this. So if I want to save it as a PowerPoint, I've already done that. Just keep saying File Save or Command S. That's the shortcut. If you like shortcuts, it'll save it. But if I want to export this as a movie, then I can go File. And again, I would have to set up all the transitions and voices and all that stuff for all of my files. Okay? It's time consuming, but if you're just doing a movie, if you don't want to go live, this is really a neat way. Or if you want them to have this after the fact, if you want to view them, if you wanted to post this in Schoology, then you can definitely upload this as a movie. Now it's going to be a huge file, so again, I would probably put this in Microsoft Stream or in your YouTube channel to embed into Schoology. But how do I make it into a movie? I'm going to go File. I'm going to go Export to, and I have quite a few options. I could turn this into a PowerPoint. So that's the neat thing is I can go from Keynote to PowerPoint, but I cannot go from PowerPoint to Keynote. So if I wanted to create it here and move it into PowerPoint for easier access for everybody else, I can definitely do that. But I want to go ahead and turn this into a movie. So again, it's self-playing. The resolution, remember we talked, if you saw the Animoto film, resolution was 360. This is a lot higher, and I can go as high as 1080. Okay, larger files, the more resolution, larger file. Okay, it is recommended that we go to 0 here if we don't want any transition between the files. Otherwise, every file is going to be 5 seconds. Then we click Next. This is where I get to go ahead and call it whatever it is. I'm going to save it into my folder, and I'm going to export this movie. And so depending on the size, obviously, this, that's how long it's going to take to create, export your Keynote into a movie. Okay, so you have your animate, your format for your text and your fonts and your colors. Your animate up there at the top for your transitions, for your timing, for your automation of your slides and movie, and your document to add music, especially if you want that music to last throughout the entire presentation. And you can add multiple music, so you're not just stuck to one song. You can add various different songs to last throughout your entire ceremony. I'm going to go ahead and stop talking. That's pretty much all I have with Keynote. It's pretty simple. I think it has a lot more features as far as editing and animation and automation that I like than PowerPoint, but it does not have that accessibility feature for live subtitles. So when I have to add subtitles, then I have to do it. I can upload it to YouTube, and YouTube does automatic subtitles, but sometimes the subtitles don't come out the way, the words aren't right because either my accent or I was talking too fast or my dialect or who knows. It just didn't pick it up. So I use another program called Camtasia. You can definitely put it in iMovie. After you create your movie, you can drop it into iMovie and add those subtitles manually if you wanted to, especially for those family members, community members that are going to be watching this tomorrow or Thursday or Friday who are part of our Deaf Ed community. You definitely want to have some subtitles somehow. If you drop it into YouTube and you grab the embed code and upload it from there, then yes, it'll auto create those subtitles. But who knows if it'll capture everything correctly, your voice correctly, to create those subtitles the right way. So as this movie is creating, so I can show you the finished product, I'm going to go ahead and look over my phone and my back channel chat. Remember, tinyurl.com/end of year press, so you can go ahead and ask questions. I'm going to go ahead and mute myself while I look for your questions as this movie is finalizing. Some of you had texted me your questions, 915-213-4326, if you want to send a text rather than join the back channel. Just so you know, it's taken a little longer, and when I created the Film Fest, it took a lot longer. It's because I inserted that movie right here, this PowerPoint movie. It's an actual keynote slide with some music, that Hurt So Good blues music in there. I created a keynote slide, I saved it as a movie, and that's what I've been using in my intro slide, or my intro image, for all my presentations today. So because I created that as a movie, that's why this movie's taking so long. There is a lot of slide and animation, not animation, but color and images and stuff like that will also have it take a while. So make sure you don't do this the hour before, the 10 minutes before. If you want to create a movie, do it the night before, so that you have this movie rendered. I'm doing it live with you, so you see what it looks like. It should be done here in a few minutes before we end this presentation. So again, I'm looking through your back channel to make sure you're not asking any questions that I can go ahead and answer, or I'm checking my phone, 915-213-4326, for any text messages. The question was asked in the previous session, what's better, iMovie or PowerPoint, iMovie or Keynote, iMovie or Animoto? Well, any one of these will be better than Animoto. Animoto is by far the easiest one to create, but the quality is not so good. If you pay an extra $10, you can download a 720 pixel video, which would be a whole lot better than a 360 pixel video. You can create a movie. So iMovie is for movies, where Keynote and PowerPoint are usually for presentations, but now it does have that movie feature where you can export your presentations as movies. But it does take some work to create the audio files, the animations, all that stuff. You do have to spend some time. If you don't want to do all that, what I'm doing, creating the simple presentation, you have the slide file from SlidesMania, the slides template from slidesmania.com. and all you have to do is fill in the blanks. The pictures, change out the pictures, put in the award names and the names and the descriptions for the awards along with the student name. That's it. And you might have to copy that, each group, 3 or 4 times so you can get the number of students, enough slides for the number of students that you have. So it's been done. It's done. The movie's done. I'm going to go ahead and find it. So it's 2019. It should be at the top now. There it is. Here's the keynote. I know it's a keynote right here. It says keynote. And here's the movie. So I'm going to open up the movie. It's 73 megs. It's not too big. So it'll still fit inside of Schoology, which is nice. It's big. It's small enough to where it'll fit in Schoology. But it's 720p. So it's 720 pixels. A much better presentation. So here we go. And it obviously movies open up in QuickTime on the Mac. So here's the movie. I'm going to play it. Hello, students and parents. Welcome to the 2019-2020 1C. So that music's pretty loud, but that's from a whole different presentation. The music at the beginning was much quieter, and remember I had lowered the volume in that as well. So once you render it, though, you can't adjust it. You'd have to go back to the PowerPoint, delete this one, go back to the PowerPoint, and do it all over again, adjust whatever you need to adjust. These files can get pretty big, so if you don't need it, delete it, or save it to a USB, or save it to your OneDrive, or put it on Google Drive or wherever, because they do take a lot of space. Remove it from your hard drive on your computer so that you don't use up all that space. That's pretty much it for creating your end of year awards presentation in Keynote. You can always go back to that link to watch the recording. Should have a recording for PowerPoint, and there should be a recording now for Animoto. Thank you so much for joining me during this series. If you have any questions, reach out to us. Your instructional technology specialist. If you're in my feeder pattern, you know who I am. If you're in another feeder pattern, then you can definitely go to our website, episdits.weebly.com. These are all the instructional technology specialists. If you hover over home and click on ITS assignments, you will find a PDF document that has the listing of all of us and the campuses that we serve. Okay, so episdits.weebly.com will you can find all sorts of great stuff in here as well. Okay, so thank you so much. So if we're using WebEx, we can just screen share it. Is there no way to view? You screen share it. That's in WebEx. That's pretty much it. Let me open up WebEx. Let me start a meeting here really quick. You screen share it. You can embed it. You cannot embed it, but here, let me show you. Let me show you this because I think I know what you're trying to ask here. Well, here we go. Let's try that again. So one of the things you can do when you're in WebEx is up here in share. You should be able to share, I think, multimedia. Let me see. Share multimedia. What's it going to ask me to do? No, not multimedia. Sorry. Share content. And I can go ahead and share a file. So if I have that movie, let's see if this works the same as it did in the other program that we must not name. Let's see. Where's my movie? Oh, it's not going to let me do it. It only doesn't let me share movies that way. But you could share the presentation. You could share the keynote that way. I would just share, if you're going to share the presentation, I'd just click on share and share your screen or share the whatever it is. In this case, it's the keynote. And it's going to show the sharing screen. And that's what I'm actually seeing right now is the shared screen. And I can still keep an eye on my viewers. I still have my viewers up here. And so I can click play. And there are my students here. I can still see them up here at the top. Okay. So yeah, the best way is to share it out that way. If you want, again, if you wanted them to keep this, then you probably want to create a movie so that you can post it on Schoology. All right. I hope that answered your questions. If you have any more, please send me an email, send me a text, and I will answer as best as I can. Have a great afternoon. Enjoy your lunch break. And I wish you the best in your presentation. And if I don't get to talk to you again, I hope you have a great summer. There's a lot of training happening in the summer, so keep an eye out for that. I know we all need our rest. Trust me, I know. I don't see my rest till July, but and I'm waiting for it. But definitely join us so that you can learn something new and be ready for next year. Have a great day.